Hello, today's hot and sweaty, but we are still going to tackle the problem of dashboard lights. So, couple tools you're going to need, not many, but you need a screwdriver, Phillips, and I got myself, and I use this for a lot of electrical problems, some Deoxit. If you've heard of it before, I'll put a link in the comments, but this stuff is what I use for cleaning electrical contacts. Works really well for all sorts of stuff like this. So let's head out and check out the dash lights situation. So before you get into here, you want to check your fuses. That's an obvious one. And if the fuse is blown out, then maybe you fixed your problem real easily. In my case, fuses were fine, and all the dash lights were out. So the cluster lights were out, all the climate control were out, and also the indicator was out. It's unlikely that all of the bulbs will have blown at the same time. So if all of the lights are out, then most likely it's another problem with the rheostat, the dimmer. So let's try the dimmer first. So in order to check the dimmer, first thing to do is remove this cover. It's got 3 screws and then 2 plastic pegs. I've already taken those out. You just need a Phillips head. Get that out of the way. After that, you got to pull the instrument cluster out. There are special tools for this, but you don't need them. Just reach around back. I like to reach around this side. Give it a push. And then you can reach around the other side. Just be careful not to push any wires. You can see it start to come out. Just alternate each side till you freed it. Now, there's a lot going on back here. You got a lot of electrical connections. Up here are up top are the bulbs that light up the cluster. If you want to zoom in on that. So there's one of them. There's another one on this side. Those are the 2 main ones that inject the light down into the panel. And at this point you can take one out and you can test it. I've already tested this with a 12-volt source. If you don't have a 12-volt source, you can just use a 9-volt battery. It'll light up a little bit. If that happens, if it lights up, the bulb is good. And so that means your dash light problem is related to the dimmer, the rheostat. So I'm going to put it back in. I already know this is a dimmer problem. The dimmer is down here. So that's the thing, you twist to get different light out of, dim or bright. To take the dimmer off, there's a Phillips head screw in the center of it, and you can reach around. You don't have to pull the whole cluster. You can if you want, but it's a lot easier if you don't bother, because you got to detach the oil pressure line and all the other electrical lines. You can do that if you want, but if you think this is just the rheostat problem and you want to try that first, get a stubby Phillips head, reach back there, and there's one hole in the middle of this dimmer, and you put the screwdriver in there and then loosen it out. Take it. So you can see how I'm getting it with the screwdriver. Here's the screw. It helps because this little screwdriver is magnetized. Take that out, put it in a safe place, and then pop it out. And it looks like that.
Okay.
So once you have the dimmer out, it's easy. You can see in there, as you twist it, that little pad makes contact along that variable resistor, that rheostat. That's what changes the voltages. You can test this thing to see if it's your problem by checking, putting the positive of 12 volts on this side, connecting this side to your bulb, and then connecting the negative to the 12 volts on the other side of the bulb. And then you can test it to see if it works. This one doesn't work. I'm getting no juice through here no matter what position I put it in. So clearly this little pad inside along the rheostat is corroded. It happens a lot, especially in humid areas. So I'm going to clean it with Deoxit. It's pretty easy. You shoot it in there along there. Once it's good and soaked, Don't need too much. Then start twisting this thing around. And what it's doing is the corrosion is cleaning off of the contacts as you turn it. Once that's good and twisted, you can wipe off the outside. Then we're going to go put it back in the car and test it. Whoa, I dropped it. So installation is, just the opposite of what you did. I'm tightening that screw back up. Doesn't have to be too tight, just snug. Alright, screws in. Dimmer is twisting just fine. Make sure none of your electrical connections pulled off. And reseat your dash cluster. And actually, before I reseat it, I'm popping it back out. It's daylight, so it's going to be kind of hard to see if the bulbs are working, but it's easier to check if it's pulled out. So let's check the bulbs. Let's see if it works. Okay, so alright, I've got the key on. I've turned the dimmer all the way up. And if you look through there in that injector, light injector, you can see it's on. If you want to zoom in there. Is it showing up? Mm-hmm. See, and then I can turn it down. Now it's dark. Mm-hmm. And you can see it's on there. It's daylight out today, it's hard to see, but you can see that the lights are actually on the climate control. Shift knob lights are actually on. It solved a lot of our light problems here inside the car. So that was it on this car. Sometimes you'll have bulbs that are burning out. Now you can check them. I do have a couple that are burnt out, but at least these two are working. And so next project is to replace these with LEDs, and I'll show you how that goes in our next video. Thank you.